Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you on this fine day?
Good, and you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Okay, so I've got you set as a presenter. You're going to be sharing your screen on one of them, I think, right?
Yes, I'm probably, it'll be me for the entire thing, and my colleagues will just tell me go forward, go backward, etc.
Okay, so let's test something here. So what we have is we have all participants mute on entry, and I think it's only host and co-host can unmute. So what I'm going to do is I made you a co-host and a presenter. I'm going to mute you. Let me know if you
Okay,
can unmute yourself, okay?
got it.
Okay, you're muted now. Try to unmute yourself.
Done.
Perfect.
Got it.
And then
Thank you so much.
Sarah. So, like, see how Sarah raised her hand for that? Now we can unmute her. And then Sarah, you're on.
Okay, great. So maybe we have to tell people. First of all, good morning, everybody. Really excited
Hi,
for this
Sarah.
event.
Thank you for
Glad,
having us, Sarah, by
I'm
the way.
glad that my tech is working, so that's great. And so maybe we can just, is there a way to put a message on screen that, you raise your hand if you have a question or something?
Yeah. What we can do is we can tell them that depending how many people we have, and then I can unmute people as they raise their hand for a question as long as you guys confirm. Sarah, are you presenting and speaking as well?
I don't believe
Okay.
so.
Okay, so what I can do is so Jennifer sent me the 6 people that are the panelists. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give them all co-host and presenter roles. So all of them can either share their screen, they can mute and unmute themselves.
Okay.
That'll be okay. So when they're speaking, they can unmute themselves. And the panelists, as they join, like I said, we will tell them, I guess, when it all comes on, raise your hand if you have a question with the button, and then we'll just see it and unmute them.
Okay. And all I'm doing now is looking for my own background instead of, possibly the most ugly cubicle in the planet. There, I've said it.
Okay, Sophie, I gave you co-host and presenter as well, so you can mute and unmute yourself.
Oh, let's try that. Oh, how fantastic.
And Sarah, I made you a co-host too, in case you had to unmute yourself as well.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Hey, Jennifer, let me make you a co-host as well. Okay, so Jennifer, you can unmute yourself and mute yourself too.
Mr. Spear, your background is
Good
awesome
morning,
now.
everybody.
What was that?
Your background is awesome now.
Well, thank you so much. I was modestly embarrassed by showing what could easily have been a broken down garbage bin as a background. I've said it.
Okay, so Jennifer, we were just discussing that. I guess once everybody gets on and all the participants get on, we can just say, if you have a question at some point, to hit the button to raise your hand, and then I can unmute them as you guys, let me know. So the co-hosts for the 6 panelists you gave me and presenters, they can be on and they are able to mute and unmute themselves, like we were saying.
Right.
So Justin, I just made him.
I apologize if we talked about this, but do you want all of our cameras on while any one of us is speaking, or do you want us to turn our cameras off so that the visual focus is just the presentation and the individual speaking?
I think either way is fine. Jason, what do you think?
Honestly, I mean, you can keep it on because this is recording too. So as it records, it's just going to show everybody's video too. It's up to you guys, but I mean,
Okay.
it's the way it's recording is it's showing everybody's video on the screen at once, not just who's talking. So
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And I'm gonna turn off mine for a moment. I'm just gonna poke my head around the corner and see if Marielle is in the midst of joining us. So I will
can poke my head around the corner if you want, Bill.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. It's a pleasure of sitting directly next to Bill. which is wonderful, except when we're both on the same call. So I have to be careful to mute because there can be echo and feedback.
Sarah, what would you recommend as far as question answer? Would you prefer that to be after the complete sessions or in between panelists? What would you recommend?
I think at the end of each panelist is good.
Okay. Okay.
We also have the chat function working. I was able to get that up and running. So in the bottom right corner, if you're in the WebEx app, I'm not sure how it is in the web, but you can see the show chat button. And if you hit that, I sent a test out before.
Oh, I see
So
that.
if you want people to use that,
Yeah.
they can too.
That's awesome. It's working well. Yeah, that's great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Marielle should be joining us in a moment. I don't see Jean yet. Let me just quickly send her a note.
I have, it looks Alex too was the 6th panelist, Jennifer. Okay, there's Marielle. Hold on. Okay, Marielle's on there.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And,
Good morning. I guess we'll wait till the magic 11 o'clock, right?
Okay.
Like our board meetings, right? Right, Jennifer? Morning, everybody. I apologize for not saying hello. I had somebody in the office.
Good morning, Justin.
Good morning.
How
Good
many
morning.
how many people do we have on?
14 total, looks like right now.
I just want to grab something. I'm turning off my camera and video. Oh, Jean, good morning.
Can you hear me all right? I'm just testing my microphone.
Yep.
All
All
right.
good.
Thank
All
you.
right, now I'm all set.
So for Jean, Marielle, and Sophie, all the notes that I took about who's speaking when, I have somehow managed to lose them. I'm remarkably proud of that fact here early on a
No
Wednesday.
worries. Bill, you're just introducing Marielle.
Oh, bless you so much. I mean, I'm ready to take notes.
Okay. To Lakewood Chamber, do we know about how many people have registered and if they are any from Ocean and
Yeah,
Monmouth?
sure. So on our end, we had a little bit over 30, and then we have the LCSC. So I would have to ask Mrs. Scalbox what numbers she had.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
also about 25. And definitely more people coming on. I see who hadn't registered but are joining us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very exciting. Thank you again for having us. I hope it's the beginning of a regular conversation.
That sounds great.
Certainly with my colleagues, I can be as boring as paint drying. I'll be honest. Let's be candid.
You don't seem boring, Bill. Not to me. We don't know each other, but you don't seem boring.
Thank you, Justin. I noticed you're the only voice that defended me.
Everybody else was silent. I'm telling you, we don't even know each other, but I could tell.
I defended you over the cubicle wall.
Oh,
Shaking my head, Bill.
I'm so sorry. I missed that. Yes, of course.
Justin, we'll give you the honor of opening the meeting.
Are we opening up?
I think so. It's 11:01.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Flansbaum. I'm the president of the Lakewood Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to welcome everybody this morning to this webinar, which is being co-hosted by the Lakewood Community Services Corporation, the LCSC. The title of today's webinar is Discover Your Potential in the Global Marketplace, and we're lucky enough to have this webinar being presented by the NJBAC, by Bill Spear, Marielle Wolf, Jean Chang, and Sophie Warner. And we thank you very, very much for being here with us and for putting this thing together. We know you took a lot of time, and as Bill indicated before we got started, we hope this is the beginning of a regular conversation and a regular relationship, and we really appreciate you guys doing this for us. Before we get started, I also want to thank our sponsors, the SBA and New Jersey Natural Gas, who are always there for us, and of course the NJBAC, and again the LCSC, and the LDC, the Lakewood Development Corporation. So we thank all our sponsors, and I'd like to reiterate, we hope this is the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship with the NJBAC. And that is my introduction.
Does that mean it comes over to me, or to us? You caught me off guard. I was still preparing.
I think you're prepared. I think.
All right, I
Mrs.
think so
Miller
too.
Or Mrs.
I think so
Delblax
too.
wants to add anything else, I think we're ready to roll.
Yes, ready to roll. Looking
All
forward
right.
to hearing this presentation.
Thank you so much. My name is William Spear. Bill Spear will work, and several colleagues from the Office of Export Promotion are here today, and we have a presentation. It's a lot shorter than what it appears, but I am going to start by sharing my screen. If everybody will bear with me for one moment, and let's see. That's not what I want. Let's try. Is everybody seeing that?
Yes.
Great. All right. Going back to the point that Justin made just a moment ago, this is the Discover Your Potential in the Global Marketplace. We are absolutely pleased to be with the Chamber and with Lakewood Community Services Corporation today. We're going to go through the upfront part somewhat quickly. I believe the organization's past histories with the back is most of, or a lot of, the first few slides. But what I did want to start off with is, give me one moment, right there. And what we did, and Justin, I want to go back to the point that you raised. We spent some time, not only did we have a run through with the organization, but we did spend some time on the Chamber's website. And we found a couple of really interesting points. One point in particular that just jumped off the page when I was preparing. The Chamber's been doing this. The Lakewood Chamber of Commerce has been doing this since 1917. And please accept compliments, and then having the foresight, 107 years ago now, of working to build a healthier economy and to improve life. Top notch. You could pull that out and you could hand that to any organization, any economic development organization in the state and it would still be relevant. So for 107 years, the organization has done stuff and conducted itself in a very forward-looking manner. But what I'd like to do is, before we get started, is to toss out those two questions on the bottom. You know, I understand working together to build a healthy economy and to improve life. But what if those opportunities, what if those collaborations took the county, took the businesses and the professionals into, as stated, France, Guatemala, Japan, or maybe conducted a collaboration that was perhaps a little bit different than what has happened in the preceding 107 years? How might those collaborations impact the county's economy and their individual and collective lives? And so that's kind of like the foundation for where we're coming from. You know, we're not going to speculate on that, but we're going to talk about things, tools, processes that might begin taking those collaborations elsewhere. So let me go forward one more. From the back, the mission is stated right there. We take a great deal of pride in delivering technical service and customer service to businesses around the county, around the state. And that technical service runs the gamut from understanding what the EDA or maybe what Choose New Jersey does, or labor or the DEP, but not just them, but all the different state agencies, to understand them and to be able to sometimes interpret, maybe sometimes to make introductions. But that's that technical assistance, that service, customer service that we, you know, that's what compels us to do this. And out of that, we strive to be as vibrant of an organization as the communities we serve. And, you know, today we're talking with Lakewood and that area and those two counties. But then, you know, last week, and Sophie, correct me if I'm wrong, we were just talking with Warren County. It may be a different economy, but no different of a need for us to be equally compelling and vibrant as Warren is, you know, as we are trying to be today. And so those are the areas that kind of bookend the what we do on a day in and day out basis. And we are connectors, as you see there. The Business Action Center does many things very, very well. Many times it has the information related to a given question. I'm not sure if you can hear us, but just over the wall from Marielle, Sophie, and I is our call center. And that call center is staffed by, on today, I think I've seen three people, three of the smartest folks that are in the state. They know different agencies. They know different counties. They know how to connect people. They know on occasion how to interpret what can easily be some of the most archaic language that you'll ever find, and that's going to be on a website, etc., particularly government website. But they help businesses get either the answer if they have it themselves, or they get connected to the resource that's going to have that. And they in many ways embody the spirit of the back. You know, that's as broad brush as can be, is the call center. When you go a step or two below that, no pun intended with the STEP program, which we will talk about. But when you go a step below that, you're going to begin to see more specialized and perhaps deeper levels of awareness and understanding. But this is a very fair schematic of the Business Action Center and where we place ourselves as a component piece of the New Jersey Department of State, which is led by Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State Tahisha Way. Let's go forward. And this picture is a pretty fair representation of who we are. Right there in the middle is Lieutenant Governor, Secretary Way, and on her right is Melanie Willoughby, the Executive Director of the Business Action Center. And on Lieutenant Governor's left is Penny Wild, the Deputy Executive Director. And then you see fanned out on other sides, different people, different offices here inside of the back. And you know, this is who we call our colleagues. The back, in terms of its operational protocols free and confidential assistance. And there's many things on there that we could spend some time with, but there's one in particular that I want to draw everybody's attention to. When you reach out to the back, you're not reaching out to a government agency, obviously, but you're reaching out for a confidential conversation. It really is nobody else's business for what you reach out to. And that we take a great deal of pride in that. And it doesn't matter the nature of the conversation. Again, it's nobody else's business but yours when you reach out to us. And that's why that middle word there, confidential, is so important. These are some of the offices: business advocacy, Stephen Milgram. I suspect Stephen's been in at the chamber or in the counties presenting the services that he provides. Export promotion, you're going to get a pretty decent dose of us today. Small business advocacy, again, that's the call center just across the way. State planning, that's the pretty self-evident, the state plan for utilizing physical resources here in the state. And kind of new, not entirely new, but kind of new across the bottom is the Cannabis Training Academy. All of those are component pieces within the Business Action Center. And again, just to reiterate, the back provides solutions, and it is really immaterial what the business topic is. Our goal is to provide solutions for that topic. Having said that, I think, connecting with the back, and that all those are valid. That call, that telephone number, 1-800-JERSEY-7, my colleagues over at the call center would absolutely throw something at me if I did not repeat that here. So for them and their benefit, 1-800-JERSEY-7. But if you remember nothing but one thing from today's conversation, and there's a subsequent question that arises, it is going to be 1-800-JERSEY-7. You know, remember Jean, remember Marielle, remember Sophie, remember me, etc. But if there's something that's not making sense, 1-800-JERSEY-7, and tell them the Office of Export Promotion encourage you to call. Going forward, one more. Here is the agenda for today. It looks like a lot. We are going to keep a brisk pace going. Office of Export Promotion, pretty straightforward. There's a couple of different tiers in here. For those companies that may be either new to exporting or thinking about exporting, there are, just some conversation for having, what to do, what to think about with no cost to the firm, but prior to maybe going to a trade show or something like that. For those companies that are already exporting, there's going to be a bit of conversation about resources that might help them either go deeper in country or perhaps broaden their reach around the globe. We are going to talk about a federally funded program, the NJSTEP program, New Jersey State Trade Expansion Program. That sub-bullet you see there, Summer Fancy Food Show, we have a lot of focus being put onto that right now. We're going to spend a little bit of time on that, and then we're going to swing it all back, and we're going to say thank you, and then we're going to close with a question. So, the Office of Export Promotion. Somewhat as the name states, this office, Jean, Marielle, Sophie, and I, have the responsibility of helping New Jersey companies sell goods and services around the world. Pretty straightforward. I've got 2 grandkids. They could tell me what I do every day. It's that kind of straightforward. Where it begins to get complex is when maybe obstacles arise or maybe determining which market to go after. But in terms of saying and having a conversation, we help New Jersey companies sell their goods and services around the world. That's pretty good. You can put that on the 3x5 index card And I think all of us would be able to understand that. We also provide advocacy services. And what that means is sooner or later, if you engage long enough, you're going to have something that simply doesn't work as planned. It can be a cargo getting caught in port somewhere. Maybe you bid on a contract with a foreign government and it looks like you believe you've got the best or the lowest bid and you're wondering why you didn't get that. All these things are underneath the broad topic of export advocacy, commercial diplomacy, if you want to get really, really fancy about it. That's what we do too. Fortunately, over the last, I'd say 7 or 8 years, that's gone down a great deal in terms of any kind of friction in foreign markets. Nonetheless, it's still there. It is something that we do on a regular basis. And as I kind of referenced a moment ago, we bring resources to the table. The back does as a whole, Office of Export Promotion does that as well. And resources can be a lot of different things. Probably 90% of the time it's information. There's a couple of other instances we will spend some time with that. We work through our partners to provide training. And then that last bullet point, which is where we're going to spend some time a little bit later, we manage a US SBA funded state trade expansion program, and that is in essence an incentive program to encourage companies to take on exporting, sometimes in big ways, sometimes in modest ways, but we will spend some time with that. Going forward, one more. Here we go. This is a little bit similar to that last one. This is what we do. Again, keeping true to form of the Business Action Center, that first word in the first bullet point connects. You know, that's how we slot in to the Business Action Center. We connect current and future exporters with other resources. Again, that 3x5 index card, you can put that right there and it's going to be pretty straightforward. Those next 3 bullet points are really what our operational objectives are. We get evaluated on increasing the number of New Jersey companies that are either beginning to or expanding their exporting activities. We take that business really seriously. We also get pretty heavily graded on helping New Jersey companies to increase their global sales. The last, or that 4th bullet point, the number of new or retained jobs, that's something that often gets overlooked. Yes, we're trying to increase sales. I get that, you know, that's a lot of times the lifeblood, but really for us and for a lot of the back, what we do is to increase the number of jobs here in the state of New Jersey, to either create new jobs, help companies create new jobs, or to help those same companies retain the jobs that they have. And then that last bullet point is kind of a lead in to the next slide. And it's this. So that last bullet point, we assist companies in the following. And the first item on the following is initial considerations for new exporters. And I'm looking around and Marielle, is this the one? Is this where you're coming in at this point?
That it is.
All right. So Marielle, whenever you're ready to go forward, just tell me and I will advance the slides for you.
Wonderful. So, Bill, would you mind advancing the slide, please?
Will do.
So good morning, everyone. As Bill introduced us all earlier, my name is Marielle Wolf, and I am one of the international business advocates here in the Office of Export Promotion. We're going to obviously be going through new exporters, so those who are new to exporting and those who are looking to expand what they already have. So there's several different considerations that are going to go into new exporting. There's several things that you need to have. So you'll see here on the bullet points. So you need to be a registered business in the state of New Jersey. And believe it or not, when people call a call center, they're not registered businesses because it's one step that they kind of overlook. So with that, you definitely want to make sure you are a registered business in the state of New Jersey. You also need to be compliant with all laws, so local, state, federal, every single regulation. And this is one thing that will go into the consideration for your firm to go into new exporting and for us to assist you as well. Have you already been selling in the domestic market? So anywhere in the continental United States. Have you been successful? Do you have a profit? Are you just breaking even, or are you actually moving forward? Either way, we're more than happy to discuss where you are with your profits, with your losses, and where you need to be. Do you have the time and resources? This is probably, after the business registration, this is probably one of the most overlooked aspects. There's a lot of time that needs to be dedicated to doing this, and you're going to need a lot of resources that you go through. And that's why we're here, and that's with us helping you. So we have our business advocates that can work with us. They can help you get resources. We can help you get resources to move forward into these export markets. But if you don't have the time to spend on it, you're really needing to take a look at how your time is going to be made. It's just like, how do you get to, the Met? Practice, 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 and you need to get there that way. So here you do need to dedicate the time, even more than you think you're going to need, to do this and actually be successful. So I'm actually going to quote Bill real here. So your customer services resources. So one thing that not a lot of people are thinking about is, all right, I have a call coming in on Christmas Day. Who's answering that? Who's going to take that message? Who's going to get me that information? So I do have to credit that to Bill Spear. Needing to understand that you need to have that contact. You need to be able to fulfill an order. Small businesses might only have 1 to 10 people. Somebody might not be working on Christmas Day. Somebody might not be working on the first night of Passover. Somebody might not be working Thanksgiving. All of these need to go into consideration. So you have your time, your resources, your customer service resources. How are you going to handle that? Are you able to produce the capacity that is going to be required? If you are going to expand into exporting, you're going to have an increased demand. Do you have the capabilities to do this? Is your facility large enough? Is your machinery large enough? Do you have the capital to move forward with that capacity increase? And then do you also have that financial resource for these expenses that you might take on? Do you have the financial capacity to get a new machine? Do you have a resource to possibly expand into a larger facility? Do you have all of these things? These are going to be initial considerations for you to go into exporting. Bill, would you please forward the slide? So as we just said, these are new exporters. Now let's talk about some expanding markets for exporting. So Bill, please. So here's where we're going to go. Once you're in the new to export, now we're going to expand what we already have. So we want to expand to 3 countries instead of 1. Are you able to move those products into other countries? Are your services, your ingredients, your packaging, your language, is everything going to be under those foreign requirements that you are going to be able to get this into another country? Do you have the information that you need to receive and to give out the payment methods that you need to get these products overseas? Do you have the capabilities of working through customs and transportation and how you have to do all of this? Do you have all of the information for shipping? So your customs, your transportation, all your regulations, all your paperwork. Do you have all of this in your head as far as what you need to do? Another thing is, obviously, we want to make sure that nobody is going to have their product, their service, their idea taken taken over by someone else. So getting an intellectual property protection here in the United States and foreign as well. If no one is familiar with intellectual property protection, pretty much this is like a basic version of copywriting and trademarking your idea, your service, your product. So you want to make sure that you're covered that way, so somebody in the UK can't take your idea and say, oh yeah, this is mine, I don't need your product anymore. Do you have all the information for a possible specific regulation? So if you're doing something like munitions, you're going to have a separate set of regulations than you would from medical devices or pharmaceutical items. You need to take into consideration all of these things and do your homework and make sure you are well aware and up to date on the newest set of regulations that you need to move a product and or a service overseas. And my favorite part of the whole thing, have you participated in a trade show where you're going to be seen by these new markets that you really want to expand to? Are you open to a trade mission that is going to take you to 3 new countries and have these meetings all set up for you so that you can talk to them and you can see what you need to do? And next slide, please. And I'm going to take this time and introduce Sophie Warner, who will be taking over from here. Thank you very much for your time, and I will be talking to you soon.
Thank you, Marielle. So I am also with the Office of Export Promotion. I am an international business advocate, and I work directly with companies here in New Jersey that are looking to start or expand their exports. And as Marielle stated, there's a lot to consider when you're starting or even looking to take on a new market. And one of the main points from my slides is there's lifelines, there's resources that you can tap into, and there's a lot of great data that is available, and it's free. So Bill, if you can go to the next slide, I'm going to jump into some of the first resources. So first, if you are here and maybe you have an interest in exporting, I would love to do a quick informal poll, by the way. If folks are able to maybe raise their hand or throw in the chat if you are new to export or if you are already exporting. Love to see just a little bit of feedback. I know we've got a great group here today. So if you want to just throw in the chat if you're new to export, you're already exporting, feel free to, if you want to raise your hand for those that are already exporting, we can do it that way. But regardless, you're going to want to take advantage of these free resources that are constantly updated. So we all know one of the difficulties in researching is finding up-to-date information. This information is from the census. This information is updated more than every 10 years. They also do the American Community Survey, and they also collect all of this foreign trade data that is updated on a regular basis. So they're not just the census that a lot of people think about. So if you have a product that you are looking to export, you are going to start by looking for your Schedule B code, which is going to tell you in 10 digits. This is my specific code for this product. So this is a tumbler or a hot or cold beverage. You could look that up. I looked up one just for example. I saw there was a plastics manufacturer in Ocean and it looked like in Monmouth too. But I was looking up articles of plastic. I was looking up a plastic lanyard, and you have to go through the search process, and you will get more and more specific as you click on known characteristics. So if it's made of plastic or cotton, because there's lots of different ways that you can make lanyards, for example. But so if you click on that, spend some time to identify your unique code. And again, that is for the product itself. So a lot of you are probably familiar with the NAICS code, so that's based on your industry. This code is based on the product that you're selling. So whether it's canned salsa, or if it is a piece of medical technology or some part of plastics to use in the manufacturing process, those all have very specific codes. And why do we need to know this number? Because it's going to give you access to use the US Census Bureau Global Market Finder. So that is the second resource that's on here. And we are going to share these slides with everyone. So you will be able to click on them and use them, because that is the point. So if you go on the Global Market Finder, you will be able to see the flow of goods in specifically that product category. So I looked up the top 5 markets for articles of plastic, and I found Canada, Mexico, Armenia, China, and Hong Kong. And that is just a small snippet of what you can find. You can see how it is transported, whether it's by air, whether it's by vessel, and there's a lot of detail. There's average prices. There's the total import. If you look at the total amount in US dollars, so there's a lot of great data. And I could go on and on, but I'm going to try to cut it short, because there's a lot of other resources. So if you are thinking, well, I don't provide a product, I'm looking to export a service. No problem. There are resources for you as well. So the BEA, or the US Bureau of Economic Analysis, they have an interactive data application that you can use to look at the flow of the trade of services, such as, and for my example, I looked up telecommunications, computers, and information services, which is one of the top exports from the US. And actually the US has a trade surplus in services. So when a lot of people think, oh, well, the US, we don't export that much, we absolutely do. And we export a lot of services. Products we're investing in more ways to onshore manufacturing, which is something that we're excited to support as well. So for the services, you can find information on the BEA. And then the last resource, the UN Commodity Trade, known as ComTrade database, that is going to be useful for both product and service providers. So if you're looking to export either a product or service, you can take advantage. Give yourself some time. Don't try to look up some information in half hour. You need to block off a chunk of time, because it's dense. And so this will point you in the direction of, okay, what region, in what region is there demand for the product or service that I'm selling? And this will give you a bit of a jump start on finding viable markets. And then Bill, if you want to go to the next slide. After you've narrowed it down to, let's say, a list of 5 countries, list of 3 countries, maybe you have 1 or 2, it's time to really dive in and analyze those markets. And so Bill, if you can go to the next slide.
Business Action Center.
And you can hear over the wall the business helpline. They are working hard to service all of the business community in New Jersey. So I always like to give a plug, because you can hear my colleague Jeff answering all those questions. So for the analyzing potential international markets, Marielle brought up a lot of good points on all of the specific items that you want to know about for regulations, for different, for financing. There's so many points that honestly is a little overwhelming, but this is where you can then combat that unknown with knowledge and arm yourself and really explore all the details of specific markets. So starting high level, the Department of Commerce, International Trade Administration. So, on a high level, they strengthen the competitiveness of US industry, and they're looking to help US companies compete at home and abroad. They have 3 business units, and one of them is focused on global markets. That includes the US Commercial Service, which is that 3rd bullet point. But the one that I really want to highlight is the middle one, their country commercial guides. They are very regularly updated, and they provide a market overview, and this is based on country, hence the title. They provide a market overview, challenges, opportunities, and even entry strategies. They provide you with leading sectors for US exports, different information on customs, regulations, and standards, even distribution and sales channels. And they'll even give you information on protecting your IP or intellectual property in a given market, and even discuss trade financing. So this is a gold mine of information. I recommend bookmarking this page and taking a look at the markets of interest in the countries that you've identified as viable for your product or service. And I don't know if this has been mentioned already, but do not think that you're too small to export. There are exporters that export to more countries than employees that they have. So it is a huge opportunity to increase your ROI. It is an opportunity to offset domestic business cycles, and it's a way to better your domestic, your product development, because you're going to expose yourself to new markets. So it's a really exciting opportunity that, don't count yourself out if you are small, and even if you are not yet ready. Getting some market research done, and our office, talks with folks that are hoping to export in the next couple of years. Maybe they're not ready, but we'll help them on their journey. Thank you.
And I think, Jean, this is where we're going to bring you into the conversation now.
Yes. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Jean Chang. It is my great pleasure to be here to introduce the STEP grant to you. Our office has been managing the STEP grant for 12 years, and we have helped thousands of New Jersey small companies. We have awarded quite a few STEP grants to companies from Monmouth County and some from Ocean County, but very few from Lakewood. So I'm excited to hopefully after today's webinar, we will see more application from Lakewood. Next, please. Okay, STEP. New Jersey State Trade Expansion Program. How can this grant help exporters? It would help New Jersey small companies, eligible ones, to grow revenue and generate jobs. The grant is funded partially by the federal partner SBA, Small Business Administration, and with contributions from the state. It is a reimbursement incentive program. By that, I mean, if you go to a trade show, you have to pay upfront out of your own pocket, the booth cost and so on. And after you attend the show and show us the payment proof, we will reimburse you. So it's on a reimbursement basis. And we also pay special attention with special commitment to support the underserved and underrepresented business community. This is an annual, you can apply for the grant annually. Bill, next slides, please. Okay, who can apply? Who can apply for the STEP grant? Number one, you have to be a business in New Jersey and operation for more than 1 year. You have to register in the state of New Jersey as a domestic company. And you have to meet the SBA defined small business entity. On our application site, there's a link you can click on, and the tool will pop up to help you decide if you meet that criteria. You also have to be tax compliant to New Jersey's rules. The same with the last bullet on this slide. You can get online to print out a tax clearance certificate, which is a required document before we reimburse you. And the STEP grant is good to support not just manufacturing company. So it's good for, it's supporting goods, products, and services. However, the products and services must contain at least 51% of the US content. So you may have imported raw material or components from overseas, but the value you add in the United States must exceed 51%. And also, we want you to register onto the Treasury system called the NJSTEP and get a vendor number, and to register on the DUNS to get a DUNS number. Those are the simple requirements. Next, please. Okay, so once you get the grant, what can you do with the grant? What kind of things you can do with the STEP grant? For example, you can use the grant to support the cost, the expense associated with e-commerce work. For example, you can set up, you may want to set up your company's web store in Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico, and to do search engine optimization. That's one example. You can also use that for the design of international marketing media. For example, if you want to develop a flyer or brochure in Spanish language, in Japanese language, in German, and foreign language, you can hire a company to do that, and we will reimburse you. You could do advertising, whether it's digital advertising or an actual paper advertisement in your industry journal. That will be STEP eligible. You can use the grant to participate in international trade missions. For example, those are sponsored by the federal U.S. Department of Commerce trade missions. And you can use that to attend trade shows or conferences. The fourth bullet indicate international and U.S. trade shows. By that, we mean sometimes you will have a trade show in the United States, in Las Vegas, in New York City, in Chicago, in Miami, even though it's a US-based show. But there are a lot of international attendees, potential customers and potential partners to come, so they qualify as well. The second last bullet point reads Export Consultancy Initiative. This is a broad category we'll put in there. You may have the need to purchase from a consulting firm in the UK for some international trade leads. For example, you may want to reach out to the American Chamber of Commerce in Germany to buy their industry report or to use their services. So those kind of things are all qualified. Okay, so Bill, I see.
Jean, I'm sorry. I knocked into my mouse and I bumped it forward a couple of slides. I apologize.
Okay. All right, no problem. I mean, I could speed up too.
No, that was not my intent. I'm sorry. I was clumsily.
No problem. I'm almost done. I just want to let you know that the application is very simple and the approval is very quick. The reimbursement is very quick. Typically, this is something you can apply. We don't have a specific deadline. Usually we start the new grant cycle around around October timeframe. So you can apply every fall. And for the new applicants, if you like, feel free to reach out to us, one of us. And what I typically do is I will conduct a Zoom meeting, a team meeting, a WebEx meeting with the company. And I share my screen to show you, to kind of walk you quickly through the application process. So once we've done that, usually it's a piece of cake. All right, so it's not a complicated process. Next slide, please. Or previous.
Yeah,
I guess there was a.
I'm struggling right now. I
Food,
think Marielle
export.
is next. Yeah, I'm gonna try one more time. Just, oh, it's just, I am sorry. Oh, hold on. There we go. Thanks for your patience, Jean.
Wonderful. So I talked about trade shows, and my colleague Mario is going to give you an example of a very exciting upcoming trade show in New York. Mario?
Thank you, Jean. So my favorite part of export promotion is the Fancy Food Show. It takes place in the winter and it takes place in the summer. The winter show is in Las Vegas and it did just end. And then the summer Fancy Show is usually the last week in June, and it is at the Jacob Javits Center. This year will be the 68th trade show that they hold in New York. It is one of the largest food and beverage trade shows in the Northeast. Last year, they had 2,200 exhibitors. Of those were 60 countries. There are key buyers, brokers, distributors that you can talk to. They have special areas for it, and they also have different networking events that these exhibitors can attend. Last year, with 32,000 attendees over the 3 days, it was the largest attended trade show in 5 years. So since 2018, it was wonderful. The picture that you see there was a picture from our banner. We did have a pavilion last year, and we are planning on going back again this year. We are looking to have another pavilion. And as Jean mentioned, we do have an application process. You do need to be STEP eligible to join us. We do a meeting once a week, and we go through all the applications. And if everything is there, and it usually is, we will go forward and give you an acceptance letter and a conditional approval letter, and you get to join us at Fancy Food. Last year, we had 12 companies that came with us. This year, we're going to expand it a little bit more. We are looking to bring 20 companies with us. So if this is something that you are interested in, and you do not have to be just a food or a beverage item, you can have a food service item, you can have a equipment item, you can have a package for these products to be packaged in to sell. There's a lot of different things within that food and beverage industry that is able to go to the show. Also, so you know, this is a trade-only event, so this is not open to the public. So the people who are there are actually going to be looking at you. They're going to be trying your product. They're going to be talking to you, and they're going to be walking you through, hey, this is what I need. What can you do? We are looking to do this. We do have a few things set up prior to. We are looking to host some webinars prior to get the entire, as we call them, our cohort, trying to get them all set up so that the goal would be once you arrive at Fancy Food, the goal and the wonderful thing about this is we are just really looking to have a contract signed between one of our pavilion participants and a global buyer or broker or distributor. I can't tell you how exciting this is and how overly exposed you are going to be to these global countries and these global buyers. You'd never think that it would be as large as it really is. Last year was our first year doing it, so it was our first annual or our inaugural pavilion that we held. So this year we are going back our second year in a row. And we are looking to go a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And we would love for Lakewood community, Lakewood Chamber members and businesses to come and join us. So as Jean mentioned, if you are interested in doing this, we do ask that you fill out an application, and we will go through the whole application process and move you through. If you are approved, we will ask you to join us in the pavilion. Bill?
Thank you, Marielle. Let me go forward one more slide. All right. You've now heard from all of us. These are our contact details. Sophie, Marielle, Jean, and myself. Once again, knowing full well that our colleagues from the call center can hear us, 1-800-JERSEY-7. You can also go online and you'll see that chat there, business.nj.gov. Our colleagues, as they answer the phones, are also engaged in chats. These are not robot chats. These are not chat GBT. These are professionals from the state of New Jersey engaged with answering business questions, etc. Down at the bottom, you'll see that's the Business Action Center's website as a whole. And again, just to reiterate what we spoke of, we are in the solution business. And I want to say thank you, but then I want to ask a closing question on behalf of the office. To the Lakewood Chamber of Commerce and Lakewood Community Services Corporation, where do the businesses and professionals of the Lakewood community wish to go? And with that, Justin and Jennifer, I say thank you, and we're open for any questions that you may have.
We really appreciate your time. As always, the NJBAC wowed us. You guys did an incredible job educating and with such clarity. And I see you really have a goal in your mission. So we hope that some of our businesses will join you at the trade show, because I think that would be fancy food show. That would be so beneficial. We'll be opening the floor to comments if anyone has any questions.
And by the way, Jennifer, it doesn't have to just be food. You know, our office supports industries going elsewhere. It just happens to be fancy food is a kind of a concentrated effort for us right now. But if you're not a food company, but you're looking at exporting, please engage us.
I think we have
So I have no questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
No, I said I think we have a quiet audience, but I guess we'll leave it to Justin.
I don't have a question, but I wanted to echo what Jennifer said. And really, this was a real eye opener for me personally. I did not understand the full scope of services and everything that your group offers. So this was terrific. And I was going to say it's good. It's good. It's almost 12 o'clock because this whole food thing really got me hungry, to be honest with you. So I'm happy about the timing. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, this was a real eye opener for me, and it's amazing all the programs and all the assistance and services that you guys offer.
And please, and we said it when we started, both Justin and Jennifer, don't let this be a single conversation. Engage us. You know, one of the things that we are trying really hard to do is, you know, we like to think that we know every possible permutation of exporting the goods or services that could possibly exist. And I guarantee you that every month, and I'm only going to speak for myself here, but I guarantee you that every month I learn something new. And that learning moment comes from talking with companies or organizations, not by sitting here in Trenton and saying, oh, would you look at that latest piece of information? So I would say to Justin, to Jennifer, and to the companies that have assembled today, if we've not hit the mark or if we've not answered your question, pose your own. Again, love a challenge. Love a challenge. I'll never be the world's greatest paper pusher, but I love to think creatively. And I would say, yeah, but what if somebody says, that's all fine, but what about this? Engage us. Pure and simple.
And for participating companies, if you don't feel that you don't want to discuss your issue questions here, you can feel free to enter your phone
Great point.
number or email address on
Great
the
point.
chat. And right after this webinar, we'll give you a call. Okay.
Yeah. Great point, Gene. Thank you.
Terrific.
Mr.
Well, thank you,
Lowenberg?
Bill.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to comment. We've dealt with the NJBAC in the past. We've had webinars with Melanie Willoughby and Donald Newman. I find you guys to be very motivated, very well connected, and the feedback we've gotten from constituents have gone that we refer to you guys has always been positive. You guys are a great resource, and we keep, we like leaning on you guys because we get results. So you guys are doing a great job. I'm just going to add in my piece for for the Lakewood community, the piece that we bring to the table through the Lakewood Development Corporation and the LCSC we have a programs designed for small businesses. We've about a year and change ago, we actually added new incentive programs and loan programs for anybody who's interested. I'll briefly describe them, but it's readily available on the Lakewood and LakewoodNJ.gov website. You scroll down to the bottom, you'll see under UEZ, we have financial assistance and program. We have all the specs out there. Once you've decided you want to go forward, reach out to us. As your resource to help you with the process. Right now, we've had well over 100, I think, I don't know the number right now, but businesses have taken advantage of our most recent incentive program, which is a small business technology program, which the local government, local economy, it's geared to help small businesses. It's a $5,000 incentive to upgrade your technology, and that's either new hardware, software, training. It's just our end of things, thinking outside the box, seeing how we can further help our local economy and the local small businesses. We have our existing standard UEZ microloan, which we actually recently increased from $35,000 to a $50,000 cap. That's at the interest rate on that is 3.5%. Again, for the best and most comprehensive information, you best reach out or to us or go online to the Lakewood NJ.gov website, because it's all there. Sometimes, when you're speaking to us, we'll get sidetracked and we won't mention one item that may be very relevant to you. So when you see the black and white, it's always beneficial. There's two new loan programs that we recently instituted. One is a low cost business expansion loan, level 1, which is a $20,000 loan, which is a 2.5%. The payout terms are a little different. It's over 5 years versus 10 years for the microloan. There's a expansion level 2, expansion loan level 2, which is at $50,000. Similar criteria as far as the size of the business, the term. It's a 2.5%. We do this day in and day out. We help businesses apply for these incentives and loans. And in general, the other things that we do aside for these programs is we help businesses in any way possible. So like one of you guys said earlier, if it's not something that you see here, but it's business related, small business related in the local Lakewood UEZ or local business economy, feel free to reach out to us. Chances are we'll either be able to help you, or if it's beyond our scope, we've said plenty of people to the NJBAC if I felt that they have the resources to be able to connect you. I find you guys are well connected, and don't toot your horns, just actually grind it out and do what you say you do. So it's really refreshing, when it comes to government agencies and stuff like that. I put you guys at the top as far as actually doing, as opposed to just saying. But with that, I will end my little speech here. But again, if anybody has, I welcome anybody who wants to find out more about what we do. Please reach out to us. We'll be, glad to help you. A little shout out for our Mrs. Gilbert, who, puts this all together at the LCSC. She's a driving force. And it's once again, Jennifer and Minash and Justin, it's great teaming up with you guys again. Let's not wait so long for the next one. But thanks for putting this all together.
Just want to give a shout out. I do believe we may have one of our STEP clients currently on this webinar. So, Hani, if you are in this chat, if you are on this webinar, you might want to say hello. No, she's going to stay quiet if it's her. Anyway, she was one of our cohort that joined us at Fancy Food last year. She is a Lakewood resident, and she joined us. So she's with Because Snacks, and she really has some delicious snacks. She's wonderful, and if she was on today, and I thought I might have seen her, but Hani Metchik, Lakewood resident and business owner, and it is Because Snacks LLC.
I believe we have some questions. There's an Abraham that had a question. Is that correct? I guess maybe he's no longer on, or he'll contact you guys directly.
And Jennifer, I do see Sakarat had put his telephone number there. Thank you for that. One of us from the office will reach out to you very, very quickly.
Okay, so we really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for joining us today. Again, if anyone has any, obviously we invite all questions to reach out to the NJBEC or the LCSC. They're a great team, and we're looking forward.
Jennifer, thank you for everything. Justin, thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
for the
you very much.
opportunity.
Have a great
good
day,
day.
everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.